uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the evolution of Sports Talk Television here on a Monday night. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. How do we start off this show? As we always do every Monday, Wednesday, and of course, when football season comes, you know, Saturdays and Sundays are always open. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. On tonight's show, we'll have the great L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast as your Tampa Bay Rays take 2 out of 3 from the Kansas City Royals. Meatloaf. Although, after yesterday's loss, you would feel like this team is 36-60 instead of 60 wins. I mean, honestly, I get it. You want them to win every game, but it's just not going to happen like that. So good job to the Rays. So we'll definitely speak with L. Bushman of, once again, the Rays Rewind podcast. And then after that, we will have Jason Powers on Sports podcast, talking about what else? Rays trade possibilities, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Antoine Winfield Jr. making some comments about Tom Brady coming back. Tom Brady possibly coming back. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I put it out there on Facebook, and it almost was like I kicked your dog or something. I mean, so many people said, move on. Can't you move on, Pete? But obviously, some people have problems with reading comprehension, as that was a player in Antoine Winfield Jr. saying that. So we'll definitely talk about that. Baker Mayfield making some comments on why he chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first place from the Dan Le Batard show. And then, of course, around the NFL, finally, DeAndre Hopkins chooses a team. What do you think about it? Open phone lines, as always, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Let's go back out to the comments here really quick, read those, and then we'll get out to L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast to update the game right now. 2-0 Rays over the Texas Rangers, as once again they hold a 1-game lead over the Baltimore Orioles. Last check, the Orioles, of course, have an 8-game winning streak, and they are beating the Dodgers. So we will keep you updated on that situation. Christopher Cole says, evening, everyone. What's going on, Christopher?
Oh, yeah.
And Roger Sue says, first, hurry this up. Raw is on. Okay.
Acknowledge me.
I'll do my best. Once again, open phone lines. Let's go out to this guy right now. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go out to Mr. L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Of course, again, to update the score, 2-0 in the 5th inning. Welcome to the evolution. And Shane McClanahan, back to Shane McClanahan, things that he always is doing right now. He's definitely giving the Rays everything they want, right?
Yeah, it looks like the back is feeling a little bit better, and that's what you want out of your frontline guy going against the Rangers going into the series, which now, and you said it before, they have a 1-game lead over the Orioles, which is nice because they're getting beat by the Dodgers, which is even nicer. So hopefully that turns into like a 2-game lead after this game, hopefully.
Well, I thought that the Orioles were winning that game. Are the Dodgers winning it or the Orioles? Because I thought that
the Dodgers are up 6-4 in this game.
6-4. All right. So there you go. Some good news there. My bad. My apologies.
So, Peter, it's okay. You've got a show to run. It's okay. That's why I'm here to give you updates on scores. It's okay.
I love it. So let's talk about the Kansas City series. Kind of overshadowed from the loss yesterday. I get it. 8-4. Somewhat ugly. Zach Eflin just didn't have it yesterday. I mean, 3 innings, 46 pitches. Your overall analysis of the Royals series?
I think overall it was, it's what you want to see. They took 2 out of 3. Obviously, a sweep would have been much better, but, every pitcher is going to have one of those off days, which we've seen from, every one of those Braves pitchers. So, I mean, look, 2 out of 3, that's better than not winning the series at all. So everybody calm down. And I know that the lead is shrunk from like 6 games now to 1, but that's baseball, and the Orioles have the hot hand right now. They've got that winning streak going on, which may be ending tonight. So that's baseball for you.
That is baseball. Again, it's the ebbs and flows here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Of course, they get Shane McClanahan tonight. He's pitched beautifully, 50 pitches. something like one hit, I guess, 1 hit, 2 hits, something along those lines. We'll go ahead and update that. But
he's got a 1 hit right now. So
one
hitter going on. Yeah.
Shutout versus the Texas Rangers. And then, of course, they get Yandy Diaz back, Randy Arozarena with the sac fly there, and then Josh Lowe with his 13th of the year. Let's talk about this Rays team and what they should do. They DFA'd Yanni Chirinos. So now you have something open in that rotation. I mean, there was talk of them possibly going out, making a potential deal for a Lance Lynn. They're looking at Jordan Montgomery. They're looking at Jack Flaherty. Any of those names, pop out at Lance Lynn making lots of money at this point. I mean, 2 years, $38 million, 36 years old. Is that a guy that you're saying, whoa, that's the guy we got to get in that rotation for the Rays? They got to make that trade.
I think he's a name that's been coming up a lot in the past couple of weeks. I know it's been heating up this past weekend, the past couple of days with him. Look, he's had a bad year so far. I mean, I think one of his last starts, he did strike out. I think it was double-digit batters, which is nice, which is good for trades.
Yeah.
I'd rather have some of the other guys that may be available. Like, look, I think at this point, every name that you're going to see is going to be in trade talks right now. So, I mean, if the Rays go out and decide, hey, maybe a Lance Lynn could help us out in the rotation, then you're going to buy cheap, and buy cheap as in buy really low. Because you're not going to give up a lot to go get Lance Lynn. You're not going to give up a few like top end prospects to go get Lance Lynn. Maybe a couple of guys that are in like single A or maybe double A, and go out and get him. I mean, he's a guy that could be a number 5 to take like a place of Chirinos, which now is DFA now. I mean, but it opens up the door though, Peter, for a lot of other names that could be available. And I tweeted this out over the weekend where, you have the Stromans of the world, you have, Mad Max, you have Verlander, they could be available if the Mets say, hey, you know what, flood doors are open, we're going to give up everybody. And then, of course, the big name, which everybody wants to have, but we'll have to bet the farm, is Shohei Ohtani. So look, right now, everything is on the table. I think Eric Neander said the other day, it was tweeted out that, look, they have the pieces available to make big moves at the trade deadline. And I know a lot of people were giving me a lot of shit about that, but I didn't say it, Eric Neander did. But the Rays don't really make the big moves. The last big move we made was Nelson Cruz, but that didn't really pan out. So I'm glad I came on the show tonight, because I think trades are the biggest like talk right now of what are they going to do at the trade deadline. I think that's the biggest thing is, okay, what types of moves are they going to make? And I think any year to make a gigantic size move, this is the year, because of what they did in the first half, what they've been struggling on the past, few weeks or so before the All-Star break. Now is the year to just go put your chips all in and win it. So, I mean, if the Angels are willing to listen to offers, and the Rays have an offer that they have an offer they can't refuse, then why not pull the trigger on it and bring the guy over? Obviously, he's going to be a rental. I mean, everybody knows this, but if he's going to be the guy that takes you over the hump, sure, why not? Bet the farm. That's what sports is all about, man. And if you're not going to bet big and bet the farm to win it all, and then you shouldn't be a GM in a sports.
For me, and I keep on going back to this. I mean, when is the year? When is the year you're going to really make that move? I mean. I think this year would be kind of like one of the ultimate years, because you have so many teams now that are saying guys are available for trade. Like a lot of big name guys are available for trade. So maybe this could be the year. And I see Chris Cole's comment, Rays will go cheap and not even make a big move. That's probably the case. I mean, that's what they're really known for, is making small little like cheapy moves to help them out in the long run without giving up a lot of guys in the farm system. So I think this is one of the, besides MLB playoffs, this is like my favorite time of the year because of all the crazy moves that are being made right now, or going to be made by the deadline. We're on with L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Once again, update the score right now, 2-0, 5th inning. Top of the 5th right now. It's the top of the 5th. Let me see here.
I think we're in the 6th right now. Top of the 6th.
There you go. See, they're producing a show, trying to host it. 6th inning, 2-0. Tampa Bay over Texas. McClanahan has been everything as advertised what the Rays need after the Eflin disappointment yesterday. But again, I think that's an anomaly. I don't necessarily think
totally agree with you.
That. And I also think, we talk about it all the time. It's about timing. They had a doubleheader, and it doesn't help, L, that you have nearly a 2-hour rain delay. I think that really screwed up the timing. Is that what you saw with yesterday's game, especially defensively? Not only defensively, but pitching wise, but defensively, Margot is a lot better. He misplayed, 2 fly balls there. I mean, what do you make of that whole situation?
Yeah, I think rain can do that sometime with those long delays where guys can just kind of slack off a little bit in the dugout and just kind of not be in the baseball mindset when they get back playing. So yeah, it's one of those anomalies that does happen sometimes, and it is what it is. And for all the people out there, those Facebook GMs that says trade Margot, stop it.
Yeah,
Just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Just stop. Stop your silliness, you Facebook GMs, you know-it-alls.
Well, I mentioned this when I came in. The Tom Brady story came out with.
All right, let's pump the brakes on that. Really, people? Are we really think Tom Brady's coming back? Come on.
I mean, people act like people may act like I made up the story. I didn't make up the story. This is what Antoine Winfield Jr. said on the Richard Sherman podcast, and it's almost like I pissed in somebody's Cheerios or I kicked somebody's dog down the block or something. They're like, move on. Can't you get over it? I'm like, it's a story. It's what I do. It's my business here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Going back to Christopher Cole's comment, do you think that would be a mistake? Because you talked about it. Nelson Cruz being traded for Joe Ryan, who was a highly touted pitching prospect, one of the best pitchers for the Minnesota Twins. A little bit different. You're trading for Nelson Cruz 10 years ago. That's in his prime. Nelson Cruz, that's not Shohei Ohtani. That's not a big move that you make. I'm willing to make that move. I get it. A lot of people, a lot of Rays fans, and say, why make a move? Is it a mistake in your opinion to make a cheap move?
No, I don't think it's a mistake because if you're gonna make a couple of cheap moves where you're gonna pay less for maybe some guys that could probably help you out, look, the Rays are really well known for taking pitchers that have had issues and other teams when it comes to their location, their velocity, and they bring them over and they make them into a number 1, number 2 starter. So if you can get guys like Jordan Montgomery, or if you can get Lance Lynn, or maybe both, and bring them over on the cheap and they can help you out, go over the hump, I'm all for it. I think whatever is going to help the team get a World Series championship, I'm all for it. If it's a big, huge move, if it's small little moves here and there to help out without giving up a lot, I'm all in for that. Whatever's going to help the team go all in and win a World Series, it's whatever helps the team. I'm not for or against making small moves or big moves. I want them to win a World Series. That's ultimately what all fans want, is to see this team win a World Series championship. And if they go out and make a gigantic size move at the trade deadline, and they have to give up a lot for it, as long as they win a World Series, I'm okay with it. If they make small little moves and give up less than nothing to get guys that's going to help them in the long run, I'm all for that too. So, and look, championship or bust, I like it. That's cool with me. So I think what we're going to see here is, it may be business as usual with the Rays coming up at the deadline, where they just make a small couple of moves to help out in spots they need. And that's obviously pitching. It's an obvious glaring note. We need help in the starting rotation. And we're getting Peter Fairbanks back in the bullpen too. So the chips are going to be there. I think I think what the front office is going into the trade deadline is, okay, we've got a lot of prospects. We've got a ton of top 100 guys that we can bet the farm and bring in these big name guys that's going to help us out win. Or we can make a couple small moves and not give up a lot, and maybe, bet on these guys that are smaller tiered starters or rotation guys that aren't doing so well in these other teams. But if we bring them in and put them in as the 4 or 5 guys, or maybe put them in the bullpen as an innings eater, let's do that too. So I think whatever's going to help out the team, in the playoffs and win the World Series, I'm all for it. And you got to look at the AL East right now. Every single team in the AL East has 50 wins. It's crazy. So, every single team in this division, maybe not the Red Sox, or maybe not even the Yankees now, but now the Orioles and the Blue Jays are creeping up too. So the Braves, Blue Jays, and the Orioles, those 3 teams are vying for playoff spots. So it's going to come down to I think it's going to come down to the wire, to be honest with you, Peter. I know a lot of Rays fans don't want to hear that, but all teams in the AL East are playing good baseball, and you're going to see all 5 of those teams make moves at the deadline. You're going to see the Orioles make moves. You're going to see the Blue Jays make moves. You're going to see the Yankees make moves, because that's what the Yankees do. They make moves to help them try and make the playoffs. And then, of course, you're probably going to see the Red Sox too. So 50 wins. all teams, AL East, vying for playoff spots.
Yeah, and again, the Rays are 60-36. L. Bushman from the Rays Rewind podcast. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about there. It's like you got some sinuses going on, my friend. You all right?
Yeah, I was out of commission last week with a little sinus problem, and it's kind of still hitting me today. So yeah, I sound a little funky right now. So
that's all right. That's all right. See, he's playing sick here, kids. You know, he didn't decide to miss the Sports Web because he had other things to do or to watch Transformers more than meets the eye. He didn't do that. Hey, let's go, Ray, says Mickey right there. Eric says, is
that a question? I don't even know if that's a question or a statement.
Let's see. It says,
who think Rays should trade?
Who do you think the Rays trade for to get over the hump? I'll ask you about it. We've talked about the usual suspects, but Al Bushman, you're the general manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Who's the player you're trading for to get you over the top besides a Shohei Ohtani? Let me make it more challenging for you.
You know, and to be honest with you, I am not to go all in to get Ohtani. Look, he's a once in generational player. I mean, he's going to help you out in the rotation. He's going to help you out in the starting lineup too. I don't want to give up what the Angels want to go get him. I'd rather go and get guys that are really, really going to help me out. And look, I want a guy that's been in the playoffs. I want a guy that's has a World Series championship. I want a guy that's a dog as a pitcher. And his name's been floating around. I know a lot of people think I'm crazy saying for it, but I'd rather go after Max Scherzer.
Wow.
To help me out. I think about that rotation. If you get Max Scherzer, yes, you could call me crazy. You can call me a lunatic. You can call me whatever you want. You can call me Al if you want to, or you can call me Betty if you want.
That's right. You can.
You can call me Betty. But imagine that starting rotation going into the playoffs. You have Mad Max as your 1, Sugar Shane as your number 2, Glasnow or Eflin as your number 3, and then number 4 you can have Glasnow or Eflin, and then it's your number 5. Maybe go out and make a small move, go and get like Lance Lynn or Jordan Montgomery, or pick somebody else up, or put Taj Bradley as your number 5. Think about that rotation. Think about your rotation in a 5-game playoff with those 3 starters: Mad Max, Sugar Shane, and then Glasnow.
I don't think anybody's going to beat you.
Nobody's going to beat you. Nobody.
I mean, and you go 6-7 innings once you get to that bullpen, which I think is still one of the strengths of this Tampa Bay Rays team, and should get a lot better with Kittredge coming back here in the next couple of weeks. And it looks like Texas has just tied the game.
Well, it's okay. The Orioles are still losing to the Dodgers, so it's okay. It's all right.
All right. So Durant, the honors there now, bottom of the 6th inning, tied with the Tampa Bay Rays at 2. You don't call me Shirley, by the way. Yeah, I know you know that.
Peter, I just look at you're gonna give up way less. You're gonna give up way less for a guy like Scherzer than you are betting the farm for Ohtani. And listen, if they go and do that, that's fine. But to me, I would rather go get Mad Max than just giving up because you're going to give up multiple upon multiple top 100 guys to get Ohtani.
All right, El Bushman, we got a phone call. What's your name? Where you calling? Is this Eric? Eric, welcome to the Evolution.
Up,
who would you trade for?
How about Soto?
Who?
Soto.
Juan Soto. I like Soto, but do the Rays really need Soto in the lineup?
I mean, another hitter. I mean, I could see Ohtani because he's a hitter and a pitcher, but do you really need another hitter? I think you need more of a pitcher. So, Eric, I'm making you the GM for the night because I already did it to El Bushman. So he's basically fired now, and that's how it goes here on the Sports Web. You're the general manager of this team. Who would you like as a pitcher besides Ohtani?
What he just said, Scherzer.
So you like that? Okay. Well, okay, go ahead.
Man, I don't mind. We can get some small players in, but here's the thing, though. If we trade for these players, if we trade for Ohtani, if we won't go to World Series this year, if he doesn't sign a 10-year contract, are we screwed? Then we have to start.
I think it's a great question. A lot of fans will look at it that way. You trade away, for Ohtani, let's just say Ohtani, put him back into the conversation. You're going to trade at least.
That's the business of baseball, man.
You can't hold on to those prospects forever. I guess you could.
Eric, I think, if you're going to bet all in and give up multiple top 100 prospects for Ohtani, obviously he's not going to sign with the Rays for a gargantuan contract. He's supposed to be commanding like $600 million in the offseason. Rays don't have that kind of money.
Yeah.
If they do, then Stu Sternberg's got it locked away in some safe in his penthouse in New York somewhere. So that's the thing you have to realize is if this GM, if Eric Neander is going to go, listen, we've got these guys available. The Angels are saying, you know what, we want these guys, and we will do a trade with you if you guys trade away your prospects. Okay, we're going to pull the trigger on it. Then you're betting big, and if it doesn't pay out, then look, that's the business of the game, and that's why you're in it as a GM, is to take those types of chances to win a championship. Is, hey, I just bet the farm to get this guy to get over the hump. It didn't pan out, so now we got to recoup and we got to go on from there. So it's as a baseball, front office person, you can't dwell on those failures if you fail to win a championship by making a big move like that.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I think it always, for me, it goes back to Desmond Jennings. Like, he was supposed to be the second coming of Carl Crawford, and he didn't turn out that way.
Right.
But the Rays decided to hold on to him along with a couple other pitchers. You could have gotten to Cliff Lee. You could have got some other pitchers at the trading deadline, and you decided to stand pat. And like you said, I feel like this is the year where you go all in. So Jim Bowden of MLB thinks the same thing. And in fact, he kind of broke down what a Ohtani trade would look like. He says the Rays have a center deal around either third baseman, Junior
Caminero, who's he's a top upcoming prospect right now, and I think Kyle Manzardo is the other prospect,
and then Curtis Mead.
Yeah, and so right now, like those three guys, those are up and coming prospects who are really, really good and can make your team really, really good in the next couple of years or so. Those three guys are pretty much MLB ready. So if they're willing to let those guys go to get Ohtani, I mean, that's a trade that the Angels might have to think about. But I don't know if the Rays would do that. I don't think they would, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, if you get some type of assurance from Ohtani that he's going to stay long, but again,
not going to happen. It's not. There's no way.
That's the problem with this, right? And that's the whole problem with the Angels. And who knows if they're going to trade him to the Rays or the Dodgers? The Dodgers could do it, but is he going to sign long term? You would think that he would sign long term because the Dodgers would be willing to pay this man $600 million. We know the Rays are not going to pay that type of money. With Scherzer, for me, are the Mets going to pay the majority of that salary? Would the Rays take on that salary? Because if they take on that salary, then you're not giving up a lot of prospects for him.
That's right.
But if the Mets do take on that salary, then you're going to have to at least give up two of those, right?
I don't think you'd have to give up two of those particular prospects to get Scherzer. I don't. Maybe one of them, and then maybe somebody else in a package deal. But I don't think you'd have to give up two. Two of those guys is a lot for Scherzer, in my opinion. I think one of those guys would have to be the centerpiece. Probably either Curtis Mead or Junior Caminero would have to be the centerpiece, and then you could probably throw in something else, and then maybe negotiate with them. Okay, maybe you can eat half of the contract, and we can eat the other half. So I think it's man, I love this time of year because it's the pieces you can do, and like there could be three team trades going on to bring in guys. It's going to be weird. So I think with Scherzer, you're going to pay less, but you are going to have to pay a little bit, not as much as you are with Ohtani. Ohtani's you're going to have, like, I know the Yankees they're one of the top suitors for Ohtani right now, but to me, the Yankees don't have the farm system to give up. They don't have top prospects like the Rays do to go get Ohtani. The only guarantee the Yankees have is, hey, we can pay you this type of money in the offseason, but he's already come out and saying he doesn't want to go to New York anyways. He doesn't want to play for New York. He wants to play on the West Coast. So Seattle's a team that could make a play for him too at the deadline, or could be the Dodgers, of course. But the Angels have said, look, we're just listening. We're not going to be making any kind of finalized deal. We're just taking phone calls for right now. We may not even trade him.
If you're the Angels, you're kind of forced to make a trade, though, because you are. You don't know if he's going to sign. And right now, it looked like Taylor Walls had a home run, but it wasn't. It was a foul ball. They reviewed it, and it was foul. So, again, tied up, top of the seventh. 2-2 between the Rays and the Rangers. Again, we'll keep you updated on that situation. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with El Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. I feel like the Angels are going to have to trade him because and I don't. There's no guarantee that he's going to sign with the Angels long term. On top of it, they've already invested a lot of money in Mike Trout. At least $400 million. You're going to do the same thing with him. $600. $600.
I mean, that's cheap.
I mean, I would love to invest $600 in Shohei Ohtani. $600 million. It's Monday. You've got to love it here. I just don't know if that's going to happen. So from that point, you have to get something because you don't want to be the owner and the team that let him get out of there with nothing to show for it. At least.
Yeah. They're kind of like in a tough spot because $600, man. I'll pay $600 to get Ohtani over.
I would too.
They're really in a weird spot because they know his free agency is impending, it's coming up, so they have to make a move to either, hey, we're going to make a move at the trade deadline to where we can get a lot back. That way, if he goes and signs with another team, we're okay because we got enough back to cover him. We got enough good prospects to bring up to make our team better for the future for the next 5, maybe 10 years. So yeah, they've really got to pull the trigger on a really good sized deal to trade him because in the offseason, they're not going to bring him back. They got to know that he's not going to come back to them for what they're maybe going to try and offer him because he's going to command so much money in the offseason. He's going to be the highest paid player. So I think even though they said they are listening, they have to do it. Like, they'd be stupid not to make a move if it's too sweet to pass up. If a team is offering just multiple prospects, maybe the Rays, maybe somebody else, and say, hey, we want Ohtani. Here's enough guys to help you guys out for the next 5 to 10 years. They've got to do it because they know that he's going to be gone after October. And I think maybe they wasted Mike Trout's talents too, because Mike Trout is one of the best players in baseball right now too, and he's just been wasted away in the Angels organization because they spent a lot of money on Anthony Rendon, and Rendon's been just a huge salary trash bag for them too as well. They paid a lot of money. He hasn't done anything. He's
a bust.
He spent more money on the IL than he has played games with the Angels. So
right.
I mean, they're just in a pigeonhole right now when it comes to financials and contracts and guys that maybe make Mike Trout available. Shit.
Well, I mean, if he can get healthy, I mean, but he's not healthy yet, and he's going to be out for at least another
Peter,
month?
I'll tell you what. You put Mike Trout in a package deal to come to the Rays. I'll put Mike Trout in DH every single night. You don't have to play center field at all, buddy. Jose Siri's got your back. We'll put Mike Trout in DH every single night.
I agree. I completely agree with that. And you're not going to want him to play center field or one of those fielding positions because of no grass at the end of the day.
See, that's a deal I would do with the Angels. I'll deal away my top 3 prospects for Ohtani and Mike Trout. Obviously, it's going to be more than just 3.
Sure.
Shit, I'll take both of them, man.
I like
it. That's a deal that never. It's gonna happen.
It's just not gonna happen.
That'd be an act of God.
You're the general manager for the night. You're done for the night here. Go ahead and promote yourself once again here on the evolution of sports talk television, my friend.
Thanks, guys. You can find me at the Rays Rewind podcast at Rays Rewind Pod on Twitter, and also at the El Bushman on Twitter as well. You can follow me there. New episode drops Wednesday morning. We have been taking kind of like a all-star break ourselves too at the Rays Rewind podcast. So yeah, new episode drops Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Believe Podcast Network and also Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Amazon Music.
There you go, Mr. El Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Thanks a lot for your time. I promise it will not be $600.
And Peter, before I go,
yes,
Tom Brady's never coming back, guys.
That's it. Let
never
it go.
Coming back.
Just
never coming
on.
back. Yeah.
Even though one of the possible franchise players is actually talking about this on the Richard Sherman podcast and saying,
"Oh, I tell you what, Peter, he is coming back. He's coming back for when they have like a Ring of Honor night or something like that, or they're going to retire his jersey. That's when he's coming back. Other than that, he ain't coming back, guys. He ain't coming back.
Should he be in the Ring of Honor? Because I've gotten in plenty of debates.
No,
I don't see how you can't put him in there.
I don't think. Yeah, he won you a Super Bowl, but he was only here a couple of years, so that doesn't warrant the Ring of Honor. I mean, there's plenty of other guys that could be in the Ring of Honor besides him. There's a long list, and he's kind of like mid to bottom right now, underneath a bunch of guys.
The reason why he's in it, he has most of the passing records in Tampa Bay.
I know.
All right, you changed the organization, the way the franchise was looked at. You were a playoff contender. You won a Super Bowl in a pandemic year in your own stadium. And Brady needs it himself because it's validation that says, you know what? He didn't need Bill Belichick to win a Super Bowl. He did it with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And you know the Glazers want to cash in and take advantage of Tom Brady in the Ring of Honor.
Listen, I think Martin Gramatica needs to be in the Ring of Honor before Tom Brady does.
Well, we had Martin Gramatica on yesterday with Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, couple Ray on Sunday morning. We may play that interview here soon. We'll definitely get that back on. But I still think Tom Brady belongs in the Ring of Honor. If you're making that decision right now, who is the next Ring of Honor? Because the Bucs aren't inducting anybody this year.
That's a good question, man.
Thank you, man. That's
a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well,
he's
one of my favorite wide receivers of all time that was on the team. Joe Jaravicious, man.
Okay.
I love JJ.
I love JJ too. If you don't have the 71-yard play in the NFC Championship game, it changes the momentum of the whole game. Then on top of it, not only is he a part of one of the biggest plays in Bucs history, besides Rondé Barber, but then you open up the link and he has 2 touchdowns, 2 amazing catches where he catches the ball, he tips it to himself and catches it in the end zone. One of the best free agent pickups out there, in my opinion, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to catapult them to Super Bowl 37. Great stuff, Al Bushman. Thanks a lot for your time here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television, my friend. All right.
See you, Peter.
All right, there you go, Al Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. Open phone lines if you want to be the Rays GM tonight. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. I'll tell you what, let's take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers open phone lines. I want to know what you think about the latest Brady rumors and Baker Mayfield with some comments on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Keep it locked. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.
uwager.lv, sportsbook, and casino. Sign up today at uwager.lv, the premier online sportsbook, taking wagers since 1998. The most player-friendly lines, weekly juice specials, and a true dime line in MLB. Unique casino platforms with thousands of games. Play poker, high stakes, low stakes, or tournament play. uwager.lv, what we offer. Free same-day payouts. Customer service and wagering support, 24/7, year-round. Free monthly rebates on your action and daily casino rebates. Contests, free bets, best bonuses, and giveaways. Generous referral program. Get an 80% free play bonus on your first deposit, up to $1,000. Sign up today, and use promo code SPORTSWEB. Remember, you can't win if you don't play.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Ask for calls, get calls. Let's go out to Mr. Williams. Welcome to the evolution. What do you want to talk about tonight? Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers or your Tampa Bay Rays?
Peter, what's happening, my man?
What's
How
going
are
on,
you?
Mr. Williams? How you doing?
All right. Well, first of all, Antoine Winfield, it sounds good, but Tom ain't coming back.
Well, I
Okay,
want to read the comments here, Mr. Williams, again, and this is from the Richard Sherman podcast. And once again, I did not make this up. I'm not trying to stir the pot here. This is what Antoine Winfield Jr. said on the Richard Sherman podcast this week. I'm sure we're still reaching out to him, being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to see if he's trying to come back to the team. Hey, it could happen. Anything's possible. Of course, Sherman agreed. He said, look, I don't put nothing past Brady. This is crazy world, and he's a crazy guy. Winfield replied, it's up in the air, man. Your thoughts?
But though, right, to me, Peter, man, you know, the time.
Do you want Tom Brady back? I mean, here's what I got from this. This is a player. This is a player that the Bucs are most likely going to build around. He is going to get paid big time money.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It'll be good because, right, he do deserve to be in our Hall of Fame for one.
Okay, Ring of Honor. So you agree with that?
Yes, because he came here and he made it without Belichick, and he showed the world the reason why he got 6 Super Bowls. Okay. And he put us on the map when he came down here, and we won our Super Bowl in our home stadium and in our hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the next bump that I think that should be in there is Simeon Rice.
Okay.
Simeon Rice should be the next one.
Well, why do you think Simeon Rice deserves to be in the Ring of Honor?
They not only in the Ring of Honor, man.
In the Hall of Fame?
Hall of Fame.
Agree.
Also,
completely agree with you. Yes.
Simeon Rice, he was one of the defensive ends that we had that will start out on one knee and switch up and come high and get his praise.
Correct.
Call up Donovan McNabb. He'll tell you.
Oh, absolutely. McNabb will tell you, look at the highlights. Watch the highlights. Watch the NFC Championship game. Watch their matchups where Rice is stripping him from his backside. Yeah, watch him.
Yeah, man. At Michael Vick. Michael Vick failed him too. Call up Michael Vick. He'll tell you.
So you don't buy the nonsense here, Mr. Williams. The reason why Rice is not in the Hall of Fame in the first place is because he was one-dimensional.
Yeah, right. To me, he should have been there right along with Rondé, man.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been there right along with Rondé. And, you know, also at the end of in the end of time when Levante Davis, when he hang it up, he's gonna finish here.
Well, you would think so. Yeah, you would think he would hang it up here.
Like at the end of the season, like he said, he had a lot of knocks at his front door.
Mm-hmm.
But he started here, and like he said, I'm gonna finish what I started. And he done played with Rondé Barkley. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Levante Davis is like another living legend. He one of the last ones.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer now, and he's going into Canton in just I think it's a couple weeks from now. So he's going into Canton, and you got to be excited about that. I mean, I think every Bucs fan is excited when one of their own, because even though we don't know these players, even though we don't know them, they come into our homes all the time. So you feel like you know them. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I'm waiting on my orange shirt, man. You gotta get my orange shirt in the mail, man.
Okay. All right. So you got your creamsicle, so you're ready for it then.
Because my birthday is in September, so man, I need my orange shirt, man. I'll be 51.
Happy early birthday. how old did you say you were?
I will be 51 in
51.
September.
51.
Yep.
Well, congratulations, my friend. 51 right there, a little bit older than me, but we're glad to have you here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Yeah, man. Up and so I just can't wait to training camp, buddy.
Well, it's a week away, my friend, when rookies, they report. So we got a week away, and then football will be right there. You got training camp, you got preseason, and all of a sudden, boom, there is the regular season against Minnesota and the road opener there. So,
we go on the road against Minnesota, bro?
Minnesota. You open up against the Minnesota Vikings on the road.
Yeah, right. I really want them to open up a hole for White because I really do think he can be 1,000-yard rusher this year.
Well, I tell you right now, he's going to get every opportunity, Mr. Williams. Anything else here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television?
Hey, man, all right. Hey, Tom, if you come back, hey, kudos, but hey,
you don't think it's going to happen? You leave the light on for him. So you're going with Jason Light there.
Right. But though, if you ain't out there by training camp, bro, they might as well turn out the lights.
Turn out the lights. The party's over, right? Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Let's go ahead on and let's deal the hand what God gave us.
Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask? Last question.
Oh boy. Shit. Baker. Baker. I will go with him because Kyle ain't had that many reps.
Okay.
But I want him to show what he can do in these 3 preseason games. I really do.
Okay. Fair enough, Mr. Williams.
We already know that Baker is going to be the starting quarterback. So whoever the third guy is, I hope Kyle Trask beat him out because he done been here long enough. It's time for him to be a second-string quarterback or something. Get out of the third slot, man. Move yourself up.
I agree, man. Good stuff there. Let me give you the Ric Flair. Woo! Appreciate the call. Man. As always, use that second call if you want to on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. And happy early birthday, my friend. Go Bucs.
All right. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. As always, Mr. Williams doing what he always does here, talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Why don't you? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's just that easy. If you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you have the opportunity to do it. If you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays, to update the score right now, still tied at 2 at the top of the 8. 2 outs. 2s are wild right now. Hopefully the Rays can get some runs. It looks like the Baltimore Orioles and their winning streak is going to be snapped at 8 as they're losing to the LA Dodgers as we speak. So we'll keep you up to date on that situation. Let's go out to these comments here from these guys, and then we'll get back into the other comments of the night. I think they're controversial. And going back to it, Antoine Winfield Jr., that's kind of what caught my eye, right? I mean, this is not an analyst. This is not a former coach. This is a player on the team right now. So does he know something? Is he privy to information that we don't know? You would think so. I'd love to be a fly on the wall there at One Buck Place, but I'm not. Is the quarterback competition that bad where there is some in that locker room that thinks that Tom Brady is going to save the day? What do you say? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Eric, once again, thanks a lot for the call. Mr. Williams, thanks a lot for the call. Think we can go all in? Absolutely. I hope they go all in. I've said this time and time again when it comes to Tampa Bay sports teams. Whether it's the Bucs, they go all in. They went all in. You won a championship. You got a couple of playoff appearances out of it. You're 2 injuries away from being a back-to-back Super Bowl champion, in my opinion. You are. Tristan Wirfs, you lose Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin. I mean, they had the best opportunity there. And, of course, it didn't happen. But you got the one Super Bowl. You went all in. The Tampa Bay Lightning, you win 2 Stanley Cups there because you go all in. I'm all about it. Whatever puts this Rays team over the top. And if you have to give up some prospects for the future, that is the future. This is now. This is the present. This is a team that is 60-36 and has every opportunity to do something great. They've been doing great things all year long. Cash in on it. Are you worried about losing prospects? Absolutely. This team is always worried about losing prospects. But those prospects don't always turn into superstars. So if you have an opportunity to get somebody that's an established superstar that's going to put you over the top to win a World Series, you do it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Looks like we're not going to have Jason Powers tonight. Maybe we'll get him on later on, but it's just me and you. And we'll talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers in these comments, and we'll also move on to Levante David and what he had to say, because I think it's interesting. I do. I think it's some compelling conversation here. It's a kind of foreshadowing of things to come. Who most likely is going to be your starting quarterback coming into 2023. I told you when they signed him that it was going to be Baker Mayfield, and I continue to stand on that hill that is going to be your starting quarterback this year. What's the Rays record? 60-36. Eric says championship or bust. World Series or bust. Renee Rivera says, go Astros. Wrong show, but, I'll let you have it, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Just don't go against the Rays. You'll lose. The Cincinnati Reds, 50-44. Yes, they've definitely been a big-time story, Jim. Damn it, Jim. Thanks a lot for tuning in. As always, expect your call here in just a little bit. Wow, Rays just blew the lead. They did. We updated it. We talked about that already. Derek says Tom definitely deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. I don't even know why this is a debate besides the fact of the longevity, right? He wasn't with the Bucs for so long. 2020, 2021, 2022. I mean, yeah, not many years. I get it. But I still believe he deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. And I've already given my reasons for that. Roger says, where's Coach Prime Rib? I guess he's not in here tonight. Daniel says 97 for Simeon Rice. Absolutely. Christopher Cole, Hardy Nickerson, or Simeon Rice for the Ring of Honor before Brady and BA. But you already said it. BA is in the Ring of Honor. Why not put Tom Brady in? And then you address those. Or why not put, you go with Tom Brady, you go with Hardy Nickerson and Simeon Rice. Why does it got to be one player a year? Why does it got to be like that? Why can't it be multiple players? I think you're missing out on an opportunity. A lot of people say, well, he's the minority owner for the Raiders. Is that official? Is that up there with the official papers of him being retired? Is that up there with him getting that job from Fox and not seeing him on one game with Fox? That official? So nothing's official at this point. I do tend to agree with you. Hardy Nickerson, Simeon Rice, definitely candidates, but still Brady, for me, goes into the Ring of Honor. Evening, Peter and guys. What's going on, KR?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Roger. Hey, KR. KR again. Hey, Roger, buddy. Roger Shoe again. If we get like 100 likes, Pete will give out Sports Web t-shirts. Yes, I will. I'm working on those Sports Web t-shirts. I'm definitely working on it. We'll have to get those. Trust me, you're going to want those Sports Web t-shirts when I get them made. We're working on it. We'll get them out to you. Definitely want to hear from you guys. If you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Rays or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Right now, Colin Poche is in the pitch. 1 out, 1 man on second, bottom of the 8th, 0-2 here. So the Rays in a little bit of a jam. Let's go out to Jason. Hey, Peter, what's going on, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations on the new apartment, I see. And of course, go Bucs, only a week away from rookies reporting to training camp. So let's go out to Levante David of Sirius XM NFL Radio and care of Joe Bucs fan. They do a phenomenal job themselves. Interesting comments from Mr. Levante David. And again, keep in mind, this is a team leader. This is not, some guy that's coming in here a couple of years. This is Levante David. This is a guy most likely, if you look at his numbers, definitely will be in the Bucs Ring of Honor one of these days. And you can absolutely make a case for him being in the Hall of Fame. No, you definitely can make a case for it. Look at the numbers. He doesn't get the respect because the teams that he was a part of didn't win, but he definitely has those credentials. Jason says, thanks, can't wait for preseason. I can't wait either. KR says Nickerson would be the next two for Ring of Honor. I agree. Nickerson was a big-time free agent pickup from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And back then, if you were a Bucs fan, they didn't get free agents. Hell, they didn't spend money. Free agents didn't come here. So when you got a Hardy Nickerson, that was major. A major, major move. Let's go out to Jason. Bucs could shock the world. The NFL has been counting it out too early. I told you what I think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2023. I think they are the equivalent of the 2022 Seattle Seahawks, where analysts are saying, well, they don't have Russell Wilson, so they're garbage. Guess what? Geno Smith turning it around with who? The quarterback coach who's now the offensive coordinator of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dave Canales. They still have talent on this team with Evans and Godwin. They have an emphasis on the running game. There's no distractions. Even though you don't have Tom Brady, you don't have the distractions that follow, and you still have a defense that's just a couple years removed from shutting out one of the most explosive offenses of all time and the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. It can happen. They can turn this around. They can win a division. It's not a strong division. I'm telling you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could be the 2022 Seattle Seahawks. Book it. As my buddy would say, Leo Haggerty, book it, Dano. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Excuse me. Update the score right now. 3-2. Colin Poche walks the guy. So now it's man on first and second, bottom of the eighth, 2 outs. So we'll see if the Rays can get out of this jam. But going back to what Levante David said, and once again in care of Sirius XM NFL Radio and Joe Bucs fan, obviously Baker has already been the guy. Baker is great for our locker room. I like the way Baker carries himself, coming in with a ready-to-work mentality. Everybody loves him already, and the way he approaches practice. So there's definitely some great things to see out of Baker. He's a great guy who's done it before, who's took his team to the playoffs and done some great things. Does that sound like a quarterback competition to you, or does that sound like that one of the team leaders of this defense saying in so many words, Baker is the guy? I'm just saying. And I love the whole comment of he comes in with a ready-to-work mentality. It's not saying Kyle Trask hasn't, but it comes down to what? We talked about it. When Baker Mayfield got signed by the Bucs, what's the reason for the signing? He's a veteran presence. He's done it before. You need wins at this point. Todd Bowles could be on the hot seat. I'm not sure if he is after last year, but you got to the playoffs with the losing record. It was somewhat disappointing. So you need all the wins at the end of the day. Is Kyle Trask going to get you those wins? I'm not sure. He only has 9 snaps in the National Football League. Baker Mayfield has the snaps. Baker Mayfield has the veteran experience. Baker Mayfield has taken the god-awful Cleveland Browns, who many NFL fans leave for dead in 2020, to the playoffs. Won a game. He's had good numbers. Am I saying he's the guy that's the answer? Does he have turnovers? Absolutely. That's the reason why you have the emphasis on the run game in the first place. That's the reason why Rashard White is so important to this offense. That's why it's so important to have an offensive line. And I think they're going to be better without a Donovan Smith on the left side, with Tristan Wirfs switching over to the left tackle spot. Getting younger there, getting stronger there, getting Ryan Jensen back. Still having Mike Evans. Don't tell Madden that. We'll get into that in a little bit. The disrespect for Mike Evans, I'm just done with it. And a lot of people say, well, you're just looking for things to talk about. No, it's disrespect. Disrespect by Madden. We'll get back to that again in just a moment. So you're exactly right. Jason says he's a vet that has something to prove, and he's starving for wins just like our team as a whole. And it looks like the Rays are out of the jam there. Top of the ninth, still tied at 2 between the Texas Rangers and Arlington. Let's go out to Baker Mayfield and his comments from the Dan Levitard show on why he chose the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the evolution of sports talk television. Here we go.
With the Super Bowl, what do you think?
I'm excited about it. I
guarantee it. Yeah, that's just what Baker needs.
Oh my God! Being in that division last year and seeing the competition. I mean, obviously everybody talks about NFC South that it's not real strong.
Yeah,
the division as a whole is going to be a lot better than people think. Tampa did win the division with a losing record last year, and we're looking to obviously improve on that. But I think just the standards that we've set in the offseason, kind of the accountability that everybody's got going on right now, it's a great atmosphere, so I'm excited about it.
Why Tampa? Why'd you pick Tampa?
For me, it was kind of a long-term decision. I knew it wasn't going to be a long-term deal by any means. I know I got to go out and improve it, but looking at it organization-wise as a place that I can come in and compete right away in a division that, like we just talked about, to where I'll have a chance to showcase that. And then obviously coming out for the draft, Todd Bowles and I, we wanted to work together. He was with the Jets at the time. But yeah, familiar faces, and then obviously with Dave Canales' system in Seattle that he's bringing is similar to LA. So it kind of showcases a lot of things that I'm good at, and so I'm looking forward to all those things just combining.
All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television. As we'll come back here, we'll move that. What do you think? Because pretty much he was asked about it, right? Why did he come here? Because him and Todd Bowles wanted to work together with the Jets. Whoa, that's interesting, isn't it? Oh, the offensive system from Dave Canales is kind of familiar with what I did with the Rams. That's interesting, huh? Certainly a confident guy. Certainly seems like he's the starting quarterback. But again, it's a quarterback competition. We'll see how it works out. It's going to be the biggest story of this offseason. Let me go back out to the comments here. Jason says, do you think Rachaad White takes the next step this year in the NFL? I definitely think he'll have the opportunity to do it. I like Rachaad White. I think that's the reason why the Bucs decided not to go after an Ezekiel Elliott or draft a running back or go after a Dalvin Cook. Not that they're going to get Dalvin Cook. I mean, that's just a pipe dream. He wants lots of money. That's the reason why he hasn't been signed. I mean, it's the way of the NFL right now. It is. I mean, running backs want to be paid more than $10 million. I mean, you're just not going to get it. And the Bucs are younger at the position. They decided to move on from Leonard Fournette. They seem like they're content with White. The emphasis, once again, is to run the ball. You look at what Dave Canales came from. Because, again, a lot of people say, well, he didn't call the plays. Okay, fair. That's a fair assessment. He's never been able to call the plays. This is his first time doing it. But you look at what Seattle emphasized, how you run Kenneth Walker, how years ago you run Marshawn Lynch. A lot of people say Russell Wilson, talented quarterback. When he came into the league, he was talented, but he wasn't what he was afterwards. He's gotten better. He's progressively gotten better. But until then, you put a running game around him, you make the offense balanced. That's exactly what you're going to do here with whatever quarterback I think is to be Baker Mayfield, because you cut down on all those throws, right? You don't want to be that team that's throwing the ball more than 40 times a game like last year. That doesn't win. That's not going to win always. You become one-dimensional. Do you really want that? Do you want that with the quarterback that's prone to make those mistakes? Do you want that with the Kyle Trask? I know there's Trask guys out there. Just looking at it, just trying to watch this game while I'm doing this. And again, update the score 2-2. Do you want a Kyle Trask who has 9 snaps to make all those throws? No. So, yes, I think Rachaad White has an opportunity, a big-time opportunity to break out. It certainly seems like the Bucs are content with that running back room, with not only Rachaad White, with a Keyshawn Vaughn, with a Chase Edmonds picking him up as a affordable free agent. We don't even know what unsigned free agent from Syracuse, Sean Tucker, is going to do. We don't know. He hasn't been able to show it because he hasn't been cleared yet health-wise, but it certainly seems like he's going to be in shape. Watch the videos. You don't necessarily have to have a running back in the first, second, third round. You don't. You can get a guy that's an undrafted free agent, can come in right away, and if he gets enough carries and he has enough talent, he could show out. But this offense is going to be predicated on the run. Make no mistake about it. Yes, they have Evans. Yes, they have Godwin. They still have the opportunity to throw the ball with K-Dot in there also. But they're going to definitely run the ball a lot more than they did last year, and that's going to definitely help them out. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Real quick, let's take another quick break here on the evolution of sports talk television. And when we come back, we'll continue to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, some other comments, and then go around the NFL as DeAndre Hopkins finally chooses his team. What is he thinking with choosing the Tennessee Titans here on the Sports Web? Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com. All right, welcome back to the evolution of sports talk television. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Open phone lines if you want to talk about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is a position battle that you're going to be focused on? What are some of the things that you're expecting from this team? Give me a win total. What about the Brady stuff? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Update the score right now. Still tied at 2. Top of the 9th, 2 outs. So the Rays not doing anything right now. So it looks like it's going to be on this out. They got one more out to go. We'll see here. 2-2 pitch. Let me go ahead and give you the update here. Ball 3 there. So we'll go out and read these comments, and then we'll say we'll go around the NFL like I talked about, and then also Levante David and what he had to say about Brady and his impact on him in his opinion. Let's see here. Jason says, I kind of love Baker. I hope he kills it this year. Agree. Ralph says, right on, Peter, about the NFL. Run the ball, play action. Exactly. Run the ball, play action. Pete Fairbanks coming in a tied game here, so the Rays are not able to scratch out another run. Haven't been able to do anything since Josh Lowe homered, I believe, like the 3rd inning there. So, credit to where credit is due. The Rangers getting it done with their pitching, and the Rays. McClanahan, for the majority of the game, pitched well until he gave up a 2-run shot to Durand. So that's where we stand right now, going into the bottom of the 9th. Rays and Rangers tied at 2. Thank you, Ralph. We'll see you on Wednesday night. We still have Vaughn and Chase in the backfield too. Absolutely. Jason says Tucker looks strong. Absolutely. He could be the wild card. He could be a guy that you just don't know, right? Because he's an undrafted free agent, but he's out of Syracuse. He's somewhat highly touted. The Bucs were excited to get him. And once again, you don't necessarily always have to have a running back drafted in the premium rounds to get it done. All right, let's go out to Jason here. I'm excited to see him healthy. Absolutely. He's going to be finally healthy. All right, Levante David, once again, in care of Joe Bucs fan and Sirius XM Radio with what Tom Brady taught him. What did he instill in us? Even though that he's gone, never take the game for granted. You never know what play will be your last, and you got to keep on continuing to fight when you're there on the field. He also said that's about it at this point. Let me see here. Anything else? He says, yes, the competitiveness that he has, it was second to none. I've never seen nothing like that at all in all my years of playing football. That's something I'll definitely take from him. This is what we continue to talk about. And I get it. People go, turn the page. Brady's gone. He's not the starting quarterback, but the impact of the man being the greatest of all time on the Bucs is apparent. It's apparent from these comments from Levante David. So that's the more of a reason why he belongs in the Ring of Honor. But it's there, and you have to hold that up. They have you have players. They're going to have to. You hope that they're going to continue with this attitude of the competitiveness that he has was second to none. I've never seen nothing like that in all my years of playing football. That's something I'm going to definitely take from him. You hope that rubs off on the team. That's a direct reflection of the team. Even though last year, a lot of people will say, not his best year, right? 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, a multitude of distractions. This team underachieved. They got in with the losing record. You heard from Baker in those comments from the Dan Lebertard show. He said it best. We got to improve on that. This team got into the playoffs with a losing record. Is this division better? He believes that it's improved. I'm not necessarily sure. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, Andy Dalton, is that shaking you right there? And oh boy, a double here. Looks like a leadoff double by Jung to now set the table in the top of the 9th. So the Rays already in trouble here. David says, "What's going on, Peter Blake? What's going on, buddy? How you doing?"
Oh yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons. What are they? Desmond Ridder, who is he? 2-2? He's unproven. Do they have enough defensively? Did they do enough? People go back to it. They beat them the last game of the year. The last game of the year was worthless. What's that mean? Yeah, they have Bijan Robinson. Okay. Could be a superstar running back, generational talent. Don't know unless he puts it on the field. Arthur Smith could be on the hot seat. Even though it certainly seems like he's gotten the best out of the Atlanta Falcons, right? He's gotten the best out of them. Not enough. You got to establish that quarterback situation. They had an opportunity to go in the offseason, possibly get a Lamar Jackson, somebody like that. They decided to go with Desmond Ridder. Okay. Now you made your bed. Now you got to sleep in it. You didn't draft Justin Fields. You're going to go with Ridder. Hopefully it works out for them. Major question marks there. And then the Saints. Oh, the Saints. Yeah. Derek Carr, a thorn in the Bucs side, always. Saints fans will never let you forget during the regular season. But when it comes down to it, when it comes to playoff time, the Saints are not very good.
This guy sucks.
And, it's funny that Cam Jordan would come out and say, the Bucs are about to be a laughingstock again. It's kind of saying what he said in the offseason, right? The Bucs are going to go back to what they were. He has as many Super Bowl titles as I do. Oops. 0. With Drew Brees. Is that the competition? It is the Saints. Can Derek Carr make it happen this year? We'll see. My co-host, Terry, the Greek professional handicapper extraordinaire, we miss you tonight. Hopefully you're making lots of money at the poker table, my friend. He thinks that Derek Carr is damaged goods. A lot of people would say, well, Derek Carr's never had the opportunity. He's never had a defense. Well, finally has a defense. Okay, got the defense. What do you got on offense? Alvin Kamara, most likely he's going to be suspended. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, is he hurt yet? I mean, that's one consistent thing about Thomas. Everybody will say slant boy. because that's all he runs. Is he hurt yet? If he's not hurt yet, then what's going on? Because most likely he's going to be hurt. So there's question marks with them. Cam Jordan getting up there in age. And the coach for me, if it were Sean Payton and Derek Carr, that's one thing. But Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
Shut up!
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you got. So again, the vision as a whole is up for grabs. And we heard from Carlton Davis. We know the attitude of this team. The chip is on the shoulder. I like this. I get pumped up when I hear it. We're going to wreck. Yes. Hopefully you do wreck. Hopefully you do cause turnovers, Carlton Davis, because you are one of the top corners in the game. But because you don't have the interceptions, because you've been banged up here the last couple of years, they don't give you the respect. The national media hasn't given this team respect because they lost Tom Brady. Well, that's all they had. No. I mean, people have amnesia when they talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Did you forget they had a defense? Did you forget about Vita Vea? Shaq Barrett again, it's coming off an injury. Still pretty good. If you can come back. They got a defense here. Todd Bowles is the coach. He's finally got his coaching staff. Damn it, Jim. Let's go out to you. Welcome to the Evolution. What do you have to say about this?
Yeah, do we have a rookie defensive back? You know what I'm saying? Big white boy. Is it a defensive back?
What now?
Do we get a rookie defensive back? Somebody on the defense was doing good last year?
Yeah, a rookie corner in Zion McCollum. And he's going to definitely be fighting for one of those spots in the back end. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Was he? Did he get on the field last year?
He did get on the field last year. He was not a good tackler. Maybe better in coverage than a tackler, but you got to be both. And he's definitely going to be on the spot this year. Wild pitch, and the Rangers have just won the game. That's it. Rangers win 3-2. Rays lose to the Texas Rangers. And the Orioles lose tonight as they snap their 3-game losing streak. So that's it, Rays fans. The Rays lose to the Texas Rangers on a wild pitch by Pete Fairbanks. So there you go. Go ahead, Jim.
So I think our offense will be pretty sound. Hopefully they do run the ball a lot. Hopefully we do that play action, get it together.
Well,
maybe this new voice in the offensive coordinator room. Offensive coordinator. Hopefully he can get it together.
Well, I mean, that's the big point. I mean, that's the big point of contention, right? Can Dave Canales call plays? He's never called plays in the National Football League. Will that work? Will the running approach work where the conservative style? It didn't work last year because that wasn't Todd Bowles' offense. Now, this is going to be Todd Bowles' offense. Now, you're going to have it predicated on that run game. Now, you're going to have more carries to Rashard White if that's what they're going to do. You know, that's what they've got to do going forward with the quarterback room. You know, for me, any quarterback room, you got to have balance to your offense. I don't necessarily believe that you can't have a running game. I don't. So, all right.
Okay. Do they still have a former head coach up in the office?
Did they have what? BA? BA is going to take a step back this year. He even said it.
Okay.
He was too hands-on last year. So he's going to take a step back. And we're going to see how it's going to play out because this organization has given Todd Bowles everything he wants. They've given him his offensive coordinator. They gave him all the coaches that he's wanted. So it's going to be on him, and it's also going to be on this defense. This defense, what they wanted to do in this draft this year was to get younger and get stronger at the point of attack. Kalijah Cansey, I'm looking at you. Yaya Diaby. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Got to show up. Got to finish. If you don't, there could be players out there that are looking for your job. I mean, that's going to be great competition right there. Devin White, what's going to be the situation with him? Is it going to be a distraction because he doesn't have a new contract? Levante David is up there one more year. I mean, this defense definitely has to show up. They have to show up with this offense. But again, we talked about it the other night. You feel like this offense is going to be better. They're going to score more than 18 points, right?
Yeah, they should be
Okay.
able to.
Okay. There you go.
With a high-powered wide receivers and we got enough running game to get us through. Should be able to.
Well, don't tell Madden that, because they actually think that Mike Evans is not a great receiver, Jim. I got to keep you on the phone here. The Madden rankings that were released today. I don't know if you're a Madden player. Do you play Madden football?
Yeah, I play Madden.
Okay.
Play Madden, yeah.
All right. So are you any good?
I'm decent.
You're decent. Okay.
I'll shut them down on defense.
Shut them down on defense. Well, there you go. That's okay. So number one is Justin Jefferson at 99. Tyreek Hill at 98. Devontae Adams at 97. Stephon Diggs at 96. Cooper Kupp at 96. Jamar Chase at 94. DeAndre Hopkins at 93. Did somebody miss the memo here? Wasn't he out for the full year? Hasn't he lost a step? Why is he 93? That's where Mike Evans should be, in my opinion. But that's Madden. Terry McLaurin, 92. A.J. Brown, 91. And Amari Cooper, 91. I don't know about that one either. Once again, disrespect for Mike Evans. He's a 90. How many years? A 90. And Chris Godwin's an 86. 90 for Evans and an 86 for Godwin, yes.
Yeah, I think Chris Godwin should be a 90 and Mike Evans should be a 95.
You would think. With the year that Godwin had last year, coming off a knee injury, you would think, over 100 catches, over 1,000 receiving yards on a knee injury. You know how much better he's going to be this year. But hey, that's Madden for you. That's Madden. So
yeah, they're disrespectful, more.
Yeah, definitely. Justin Jefferson to 99. Okay, all right. I guess I'll buy that. All right, what else, Jim?
Oh, nothing, man. Glad to hear from you. I'll call back.
All right, man.
I'll just listen in, brother.
All right, man. I appreciate you as always. Let me give it the Macho Man.
Yeah.
There you go. Good call right there. Open phone line as the Tampa Bay Rays lose to the Texas Rangers in the bottom of the ninth. Wild pitch by Pete Fairbanks. They lose to the Rangers 3-2. But good news, Rays fans. The Baltimore Orioles have also lost to the Dodgers 6-4, it looks like here. So they're 8-game. And let me just check that score really quick, because I don't want to make sure I give you any bad information here as I'm producing while we're doing this. And let's see here. 6-4 final. The Dodgers snap the Orioles winning streak of 8 games. So there you go. Rays not losing any ground at this point. Yes, the Rays did lose Eric, and Sitton goes, I think we should go more college football, please. I mean, you want to talk about more college football, or you want to run an offense like college football? Go ahead and tell me what you think. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. Speaking of wide receivers, Deshaun Jackson made a post on Instagram on Sunday. Looks like he's hinting at retiring. Of course, played for the Bucs, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Rams, the Raiders during his 14-year career. Did it my way, 15 years strong. Never another like it. Of course, he played 2 years with the Bucs in that time. 91 passes, 1442 and 8 touchdowns, an average of 55.5 yards per a game. I still feel like that was probably one of the worst free agent signings, along with Chris Baker from the Washington Redskins at the time. Ruined the chemistry of this team, probably ruined the quarterback and Jameis Winston, because he wanted the ball deep, and he had Fitzpatrick there for the first 2 games when Winston was suspended. I still contend that he was probably one of the worst free agent signings, but it looks like he is going to retire. So give me your thoughts on that. Christopher Cole says Madden is a joke. So not a Madden player, I see. Okay. All right. So DeAndre Hopkins decided to sign with the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee, that's the team. He just said a couple months earlier he wanted a Super Bowl team, a team with a good quarterback, and also an organization with stability. Yeah, all those are not checked. Not with the Tennessee Titans. The team to beat most likely in that division is the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to tell you why he decided to sign with the Tennessee Titans. $32 million. That's what the contract could be, 2 years. Supposedly, the Patriots were in the conversation, but they didn't offer enough money. Shocker there with Bill Belichick and the Patriots and the way they look at free agency. But even with all that being said, of course, the Titans let go of A.J. Brown. So did they get better? Do you get better with an older wide receiver in a DeAndre Hopkins over an A.J. Brown? Why not just keep an A.J. Brown? Why not pay an A.J. Brown instead of trade what you did for him? I guess that's where they're going. So we'll see how that all works out. Of course, Derrick Henry still a part of that team. Hopkins has missed 15 contests the past 2 seasons due to 6-game suspension. We talked about that. Still, by the way, on Madden, a 93. He is a difference maker even at 31 years old. 19 games he did play in that span. Collected 106 catches for nearly 1,300 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns. Again, his 10-year career, 853 receptions, nearly 12,000 receiving yards. Does that make Tennessee a contender? Because to me, Jacksonville is the team to beat. Does that put them over the top? Is Ryan Tannehill one of the best quarterbacks in the league? Are the Titans a stable organization? Or once again, was Hopkins going for the money? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. The other number, in case you can't get through, 727-409-7528. Again, 727-409-7528. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Now, some controversy around the National Football League today, as it was the deadline for NFL running backs to sign their franchise tender. Of course, Josh Jacobs did not sign. It looks like Saquon Barkley did not sign either. So it looks like they may be holding out. There was one player that did sign, and I'm trying to right now, Tony Pollard. Looks like it. So the Monday's deadline, again, the franchise deal, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard. They were the only players who received the franchise tag, did not reach a contract, and they will have to play under that 2023 season on the franchise tender of $10 million. Not bad for a running back, by the way, to play for $10 million. Just saying. Barkley and Jacobs, however, remain unsigned and stay away from the team. Barkley tweeted out Monday, "It is what it is. We like you, Saquon Barkley. We just don't like you enough to sign you to a long-term deal." So, when does it become a distraction? How much camp is he going to miss? If he starts missing games, if it goes down the road of Le'Veon Bell, then you start to be costed game checks. Do you think Saquon's going to do that? What's the impact on Josh Jacobs? Being in the leading rusher last year, do these guys have a point? Well, Matt Miller of ESPN doesn't necessarily think so. In fact, he was tweeting out today, been saying it for years. Draft a running back, play the running back. If he's good, franchise tag the running back one time, and then draft a running back. Now, there's been definitely some... not necessarily some great conversation here from the other players. In fact, some negative feedback. Austin Eckler says on Twitter, "This is the kind of trash that is artificially devalued one of the most important positions in the game. Everybody knows it's tough to win without a top running back, yet they act like we are discardable widgets. I support any running back doing whatever it takes to get his bag, get the money. Here comes the money." That's what it's about for these running backs. But the problem is that Miller is somewhat correct. I definitely think you have to have a running back in a running game, but we all know that you can get a running back, not necessarily in the first round. You can get one in the second, third, fourth round, and you can get one as an undrafted free agent. I mean, you look at Isaiah Pacheco being a 7th-round player, right? How productive was he for the Kansas City Chiefs last year? So you look at that production and you're like, well, do I really need to pay a running back? I mean, franchise him one time and then draft a running back. Because we talked about it. Dalvin Cook isn't the same player. Love Dalvin Cook, but he's got miles on those tires, right? The hits have taken its toll. The carries have taken its toll. Other running backs around the league referring or responding to Miller. Derrick Henry, King Henry says, at this point, just take the running back position out of the game then. The ones that want to be great and work as hard as they can to give their all to an organization just seems like it don't even matter. I'm with every running back that's fighting to get what they deserve. So running backs all coming together and coming after this man. So what do you guys think about that? And then, of course, Jonathan Taylor, one of the best in the league. Somewhat of a down year last year with the Colts. A lot of high expectations, of course. He says, if you're good enough, they'll find you. If you work hard enough, you'll succeed. If you succeed, you boost the organization, and then it doesn't matter. You're a running back. So we'll see how all that plays out. And then Najee Harris finally says for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I agree with my running back brothers around the NFL. History will show that you need running backs to win. We set the tone every game, run through walls for our team, lead in many ways. This notion that we deserve less is a joke. So again, we'll see how it all plays out with these running backs for their teams. Distractions. The Bucs don't have to worry about it. I think they got a damn good one. And Rashard White, it remains to be seen, only a week away from training camp. We'll be back on Wednesday night with more guests. Of course, the legend himself, Leo Haggerty. And then, of course, as always, your phone calls once again to update the night. Not great news if you're a Rays fan.
This guy sucks.
They lose the opening game to the Texas Rangers 3-2 on a wild pitch by Pete Fairbanks. But good news for Rays fans. The Baltimore Orioles also lose to the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers snap the 8-game winning streak of the O's. So we'll be watching it here the next couple of days. We'll be back on Wednesday night. Thanks to L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. And thanks to all the calls, all the comments. Once again, a week away from Bucs training camp with rookies reporting. 3 things here on this Monday night. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the sports web, it's your time. Have a great night. Are you an athlete or professional struggling with life or career transition? Life isn't always easy, but hope is always present. Best Hope Counseling will help you move forward. For nearly a decade, licensed marriage and family therapist Larry Baumgartner has helped clients empower change and discover solutions using a solution-focused therapy approach. Conversations will focus on what you desire to change, not just the problems that brought you into counseling. From anger to depression or other emotions, Best Hope Counseling is there for you. Contact Larry personally on his direct line at 727-946-1346. Again, 727-946-1346 for a telehealth appointment in Florida and Minnesota, or in person an appointment in Minnesota. Take time out and begin your game plan to reconnect, rebuild, and restore happiness in your life. BestHopeCounseling.com.